Well, guys, you know what this means. I'm sitting down, which means that we are going to be informed and entertained. Throughout the week, I've been sharing little snippets of what's been going on with the kitchen. Guess what came today? The kitchen. Also, we need to have a little talk about this money and how we plan to finish this house. I would have shared with you a few weeks ago that the contractor needs to move on to another project. I also need to move on to another project. So I need your help with this. And as we get into the show, I will be showing you the area of the house I actually need your feedback on in terms of sourcing something. So I'm answering a question first that I was asked this week, and it was such a good one. So make sure you have your notes, boil your tea as we get into it. I'm Kelly Johnley, and this is Bajan Renovation. All right, guys, so two things you should know. If we miss a week, it means we're coming back with a big show. And if I pull out my chair, it means that we have to discuss the money, right? That I have to sit down and I actually need to write notes to make sure I don't forget anything. Now, one of you last week asked a really good question, and I wanted to answer it for the benefit of everybody. And the question was this: considering how much money you have spent on the renovation that is above what was budgeted, do you still consider this house a good investment? I love that question. So for context, when I took out the mortgage, I was loaned $90,000 as a part of the renovation budget for this house. I understood at the time when I submitted the estimate for the $90,000 that $90,000 was not going to give me all the bells and whistles. And my contractor told me that several times. He said, Kelly, this budget that I am giving you is a bare bones budget. This will get you to what we call a practical completion, but this is not for your trimmings. While we're still very much at a completion stage, I should say, I estimate that my investment in the property above that $90,000 will probably be another $90,000, and I ain't got nothing to do with furniture. So let's just say all in the renovation was $180,000, and $90,000 of that was mine. Did I expect to spend as much as that? No. Am I losing any sleep over it? We'll see. But here's the answer to the question. All right, so let me start here. Technically, a primary home, this is my perspective, a primary home, which is the house you live in, is not really considered an investment. And here is why. The reason being is that the purpose of a primary home is to house you and your family. That is very different from an investment, which in financial terms is an asset you put money into with the expectation of generating income or profit, whether through rental income, through dividends or capital gains, or through the sale of the asset. When you purchase a home, yes, a home can gain value, which if you sell it, you may be able to extract. Also, there are financial tools that do become available to you over time as the equity in your property builds. So remember, the equity in your property is the difference between what you owe the bank for the property and the value of the property. So if you owe your bank $100,000 on your mortgage, but your recent valuation says that your property is valued at $600,000, $500,000 is your equity. And you may be able to access a home equity loan, or you may be able to go for a refinance to lower your payments. Yes, your home can gain value. But the thing is, to get to extract the value out of a house, quite often you have to sell it, right? And usually at the time most of us sell our properties, even if we've paid it off, by the time you technically work out the interest that you have paid plus monies you would have paid on maintenance and upgrades over the life of time you have lived in it, it's not really an investment tool, which is why I always tell people your primary home is your biggest financial commitment, okay? That is how I like to view it. It is not your biggest investment, because if I was looking at a property through the lens of it being an investment, I would never have raised this roof. I would never have painted the cupboards. I would not be having a mahogany live edge kitchen counter, because based on what I know the area is like and what I have seen comparable properties renting for, I would not be able to rent the property much above and beyond what I pay for it on a monthly basis to say that this is a good investment. So is this a good investment? At this juncture, I wouldn't call it an investment. This is a primary home for me. What I do feel very comfortable about is the price that I paid for it. So even though I have put an extra $90,000 into the property, once the property is complete, the bank don't care, because my mortgage is still $1,200 and they're fine. As far as they're concerned, they can see the value of the property increasing and that's what's on their books. But where I have felt it is really in my business. Now, this is where the money thing gets tricky, and I could say where I'm feeling the pressure. I'm not feeling the pressure in the house, I'm feeling the pressure in my business. As I would have shared with some of you all before, I started working for myself last year March. I have a business, it's called Pivot Productions. Some of the projects that we do, well, now Bajan Renovation and Bajan Renovation magazine are one of them. We also have the Pivot series, which is one of our house projects. But beyond that, and what takes up the most of our time, is client work. So quite often Shaka and I and other team members are out actually delivering projects for our clients. And these are not things that we will share on this series. But here is where the rubber has really hit the road for me. And it will lead into some of the things I'm going to show you in the house right now. To get this house completed and to inject the extra $90,000 into the house, I have been taking the money very aggressively out of the business. And anybody can tell you that is not really the way to run a business. I have been fortunate that I have been able to deliver on the projects that I have committed to. But now that we're going into the last quarter of the year, I have to stop doing that. The bank has told me, and just to give you a very practical example of why I have to stop doing it. We are getting ready to publish 2 magazines. For me to get a magazine out into the market, the cost of one of those magazines is $30,000. I cannot take the $30,000 in the business and go and put in bedroom cupboards, because the billing cycle for that is not probably until January. I have to stop. So I actually need your help with some changes that we're making to the design plan for the bedrooms, so that I can bring it up to a practical completion for the bank. Now, just for conversational purposes, this is not an exhaustive list of what is required for the bank, but for a house to be considered complete in the bank's eyes, it needs to be airtight, meaning that the roof needs to be on, the doors need to be on, the windows need to be there. The house has to be painted on the inside, the tiles need to be down. You have to have approved plumbing, and you have to have government electrical approval on your electricity. Light and Power needs to come and officially connect the electricity. Those are things that are absolutely required. Oh yes, and your kitchen fixtures and fittings need to be in. Your bathroom needs to be in and functioning. When that is done, your contractor will tell you that your property is at practical completion. That is when you now have to go and get another valuation. The cost is at you to then get to the bank. The bank will come and do its own inspection. Please don't think for a second that the bank ain't looking. The bank will come and do its own inspection to ensure that what we are saying has been done was done. They're going to take the valuation, the new valuation, and that is what will close it off on the books. That is what will say that this house is complete. This is the value of the property. The owner has moved in, and I always like to say the owner, because the truth of the matter is until you don't pay for this house belongs to the bank, but that's another story. So that is where we are. As you saw earlier, we have been going back and forth with Crafted by Wood in a good way, getting the kitchen ready. The kitchen is here and is going to be assembled during the course of the week, so I'm excited about that. And that is the last big thing that has to be done to bring us to compliance. I need your help with some other things. All right, guys, we are in the master bedroom. This is my room, and I love it. I can tell you it feels nice and airy and breezy, but we're going to show you, as a reminder, the initial drawings that were done for the bedroom cupboards. Those also were done by Crafted by Wood, and this is the original design that Jimmy and I came up with. Now, we didn't refine it, but this is what I was initially going for. As I mentioned earlier, the bank does not require bedroom cupboards to be installed for a house to reach completion. More specifically, Kelly presently cannot take up any money to go and put cupboards, to put her dream cupboards in here. So I was starting to think, and I actually found a creative solution which I am quite happy with. I am looking for 2 wardrobes, and I need your help, please. Shaka, show them the inspo shots of what I would like to do. I would like to place 1 wardrobe here, and I would like to place 1 wardrobe here. Now, as you can see from the photos that we are showing you, this is going to be a bit of a craft project, and I don't mind it. I mean, I don't feel like poor thing, as my mother would say. I actually do very much like this solution. As you can see from the style of wardrobes that I'm showing you, these are older ones. So what I'm asking you is, if you have one to sell, if you're on Facebook Marketplace and you know somebody is selling one, if you go anywhere and you see these wardrobes, I am actively looking to secure 2. In terms of the size, I don't know if it's very obvious on camera, but this window is not centered. And if you're wondering why, it's because this was never originally where a window was. But in terms of the width of the wardrobes, on this side, I would like one that is maximum width 46 inches. So the maximum width for this one will need to be 46 inches. And on this side, we are going with a maximum width of 36 inches. So again, I am very keen to get my hand on 2 wardrobes very quickly, and part of the reason why I'm so keen to get it done quickly is that when the painters come back to do the doors and to finish the front of the house, I want to be able to ask them to do it. So that's our little craft project. That's where we are with that. So your help will be greatly appreciated. Now, in my daughter's room, this is my daughter's room. It's not a little, it is smaller than mine. And I still very much would like to do the built-in here on this main wall, simply because I think she's going to need the storage. But for now, similarly, if I can provide her with a wardrobe in her room, fine. I'll also show you the initial cupboards that we had got the quotes on. I'm just being practical here, guys. I do not know where I will pull this money from, and the truth is, based on what we're doing in the business and some projects I'm really excited about, having everything absolutely perfect is not really a priority. Right now, I am going for good enough. I always remember we used to say at work, 75% is an A here, 75% is an A. So what I may do is, the next time I'm a little cashy, is that I still will go back and get this built-in done for her. I think it's a great functional piece and it makes the most of this space. But for now, this space here, I would like to get a wardrobe to rest in this space for her. So any suggestions, I am welcome. Ming. So similarly, we can take a unit here that is 46 inches wide, and you can see it's a pretty deep space. So if it was as deep as 37 inches, that's okay. I want to stress that I am not necessarily looking for anything that is new. As you can see from the photos, I definitely see this as a fixer project, something just that to warm up the house a bit. So if you see something, if you have something, if you're wondering, wait, the color, this side look like it want painting, this door got a little creak in it, don't worry about that, okay? That's not the part that I'm concerned about. I'm more concerned about the structure. I'm bringing it in here while I have the guys to work on it. I am not begging a freeness, but I will take it. So if you're free cycling anything, feel free to drop me a DM, but I am willing to pay for something that fits the space. So y'all know we had to discuss this color, the color of the kitchen, okay? Listen, you all need to be more of one mind, all right? Like form another group chat, talk to one another, right? And then come back with more definitive answers, because I now don't know if to ask you all to help me choose the cover colors, but I'll give you all another try. But if you're curious, the color that we went with for the base of the cupboards, the olive green, so we do have a two-toned kitchen, is called Olive Tone, and it's from Sherwin-Williams, and the number is SW9670. That's Sherwin-Williams Olive Tone 9670. And the uppers for the cabinets, and yes, Team Cream, or should I say khaki one, it's Sherwin-Williams 9507, and the color is called Cream and Sugar. Now, I will confess, while I was on the fence, I was definitely leaning towards the darker green on the top and the lighter green, sorry, the dark green on the bottom and the lighter green on the top, because I have seen people's two-tone kitchens, and I just think they look good when you have a similar color family. So I was with you with the two greens. Because you all could not decide amongst your all selves in a definitive way, I actually sent it to three designers to just get their input, and interestingly enough, they all went with the cream uppers, and their suggestion was this. They said, Kelly, unless you consider yourself someone who is going to embrace trends in their home as you live in it, just keep in mind that having the two greens on top of each other is very much trend-led. Yes, it is visually impactful, but it's not something you'll be able to swap out. So if you are pushing your color limits already by having the green base, don't put the green on the top, because your kitchen is not something that you're going to change out like your curtains. And that, dear children, is how we have ended up with this color combo. Okay, I thank you for your participation. Please know we'll be discussing the kitchen, the bedroom cupboards, the bedroom wardrobes very soon. So go and talk amongst your all selves and be of one voice for when we get to those. This one is not a requirement for the bank, but I will not be able to hold my national housewarming with the front of my house looking like this. If you have an eagle eye, you may notice that we've started to clean up around the house. One of the things that I did ask the contractor to send me a quote for is just for the grading of the property. They're going to level it down. We're going to do concrete. Yes, I am still holding on to my vision of how I am going to finish the backyard. But for all of you who have asked, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with Bajan Renovation when you finish the interior? We have a whole exterior to go, guys. We have a whole exterior and a whole apartment to go. So you kind of stuck with me for a little bit. But kitchen going in, and I guess it's fair to say then another item which might be on the higher end is some measure of completion for the yard, because I'm not inviting you all to a national housewarming and telling you all to go and boil tea and outside looks like this. I can't do it. I have my pride. I don't know about you, but one thing I know is that the Prime Minister has her copy of Bajan Renovation magazine, okay? Which means there's one left. We are actually running pretty low. I am so pleased that you guys have enjoyed the publication. I truly appreciate the feedback, and I can tell you it is so satisfying to know that many of you are out there making property decisions with clarity and confidence, and that you feel a sense of pride when you see the publication, and that it includes things that are really applicable to us in our market. So I'm letting you know from now that by the time I mention the magazine again, which will be probably in about 2 weeks, the last copies will be in Massey stores. You can also get a few Art Rubis in Coverley as well as at Bloom Bistro in Canewood. I appreciate your feedback. I will be doing a survey just to get some concrete information and comments from you in the near future. Hopefully you'll be able to participate. But for now, this is another episode of Bajan Renovation, and it's goodbye from us.